Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all, I'm working behind the scenes. Shout out to all my workers. Shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my members, new and previous members. Shout out to my TikTokers. Shout out to everyone. I hope everybody having a great day. We back with another reaction now. You know when the whole thing was embarrassment the way the FBI director Bruce just brush in after that happened to Charlie Kirk, how quickly they moved in and how snappy everything went too fast for me. Everything I say is allegedly, but now he got to deal with on Tuesday and Wednesday. Kash Patels has to deal with Tuesday with the Senate Judiciary Committee, and Wednesday the House of Judiciary Committee. He got to meet up them on them 2 days, and on those 2 days, and um, I think he kind of like embarrassed, what happened, handling the Kurt murder. You know what I mean? Because they was up there talking. I was like, why are they saying all of this? You're not supposed to tell everything that FBI did to get to their point. So the FBI director, Kash Patel's, this is his upcoming congressional hearing. Okay, but let's watch this video and we'll be back with another reaction.
Patel is scheduled to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee for its annual FBI oversight hearing. It's interesting timing, and on Wednesday, it is anticipated that he will do the same on the House side. During those hearings, it's also expected he will face tough questions on a number of outstanding issues. This all comes as Patel continues to face scrutiny over his handling of the Charlie Kirk shooting investigation from both ends of the political spectrum. That's, of course, on top of the scrutiny over the FBI's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein investigation and his overall management of the federal law enforcement agency. Joining us now is National Security and Intelligence Analyst Christopher O'Leary. He's also a former FBI Special Agent and Senior Counterterrorism Executive. And back with us is Mary McCord. Christopher, I want to get to you first. Just pick at your expertise here, because we are seeing right now play out in real time on social media this blame game, this MAGA civil war kind of unfolding into public view about Patel's handling of the Kirk investigation. You have some characters in MAGA sphere attacking him, some proactively defending him. You have Patel himself, very active on social media right now. From your perspective, someone who has been inside the room, how do you think Patel has handled this so far, and this social aspect of it, Patel tweeting as he goes, how unusual and detrimental it is?
And tweeting things that are wrong that he has to fix later. So Director Patel has some excellent qualifications on social media. He has absolutely no background experience or disposition or character to be in charge of the FBI. This is an embarrassment. People throughout my career have asked, excuse me, what is the biggest threat to U.S. national security? What keeps you up at night? And that has vacillated over time. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, drones, cyber warfare. The biggest threat to U.S. national security is having incompetent sycophants in charge of protecting our citizens. And that's what played out over the last week. And not to minimize this event, a political assassination against somebody utilizing or employing their First Amendment protected rights should disgust all of us. But in the scheme of things, this was a minor crisis. If this continues down this pathway and we have an Oklahoma City bombing, or God forbid something on the scale of a 9/11, Kash Patel couldn't lead an organization during this crisis. If we have something at scale, we're in real trouble. And he decided to stay for the second course at Rayos, apparently, which I've been there. The meatball is spectacular, but it shows that he lacks the character and the judgment to handle this.
Are you hearing that from people that you're still in touch with inside the Bureau?
It's been a steady drumbeat. And just for background, I knew and worked with Kash Patel a decade ago when he was a staff attorney, working terrorism at Main Justice. I was involved in the Benghazi investigation. I was involved in East Africa cases. He was a fine partner for where he was then, but he was a self-promoter. He's an opportunist. He does not care about protecting the Constitution, does not care. Two simple things, leadership things. Even he has no leadership background. If you focus on two things, mission accomplishment and the welfare of your people, that's a good start point.
Right.
He doesn't do either. He cares about himself, flies out to Utah to have this spotlight on himself, taking
attention
credit for the investigation. Dismissing our federal, state, and local partners as being kind of insignificant in all of this. That is opposite to what any leader should be doing, undermining his special agent in charge who's out there. And let me just close this out with 2 points.
Hey, Lisa.
Who's out there who I don't know personally, and I have to assume, like most FBI agents, he's a qualified professional. But the SAC they removed just a few weeks ago, special agent in charge, Maytab Syed. I worked with her for years. Career counterterrorism professional. Has proven herself in crises in the past. Mary probably worked with some of the top counterterrorism cases. She was removed without cause. Nobody was never told. Suspicion is she was considered a DEI hire, which I can tell you her qualifications are exceptional. She might be of Pakistani descent, a Muslim, a female. She's one of the finest agents I've ever worked with. She was removed. She certainly could have handled this crisis, no problem. The other person that was removed was Brian Driscoll, the assistant director of, the Critical Incident Response Group, purposely built to respond to complex crises. He was no longer in his job. He was actually with me in New York watching this all unfold. So,
wow.
if you were unqualified to handle this yourself, maybe you should leave the professionals in, the career professionals that have a demonstrated track record,
right,
can actually protect the American people and not focus on social media.
When this happened, when this incident happened like this, when assassination happened, I knew something was wrong the way Kash Patel was, his deliverance about his deliverance was more like, I'm a hero. Thank y'all. I did this. That's how I allegedly think that when I heard him spoke, and I never heard of Kash Patel because I'm not really into who all in charge, who the leader, who the head of FBI, but I just knew something wasn't right, y'all, with this whole situation. Because I never seen the FBI run that way. Y'all know what I mean? We ain't never seen nothing like that. So Kash Patel said that his job depended on firing agents in Trump cases. So they got a lawsuit claim, allegedly. But as a director, allegedly it wasn't handled professionally. You know what I mean? What y'all think? Drop in the comment what you think about the whole situation with the FBI, with the lawsuit against Kash Patel.
By former FBI executives, he thought that lawsuit alleges Patel knowingly broke the law when he carried out the firings at the behest of the White House, and it quotes him as saying he knew he could get sued for firing agents without cause, but that his job depended on removing people who had worked on cases against President Trump because, quote, the FBI tried to put the president in jail and he hasn't forgotten it. Joining me now, the MSNBC correspondents who got the early information about this lawsuit. They've been poring over it. Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Delanian and senior investigative correspondent Carol Lenig. Ken, what should we know? What stands out about this lawsuit?
Carol, the most striking thing about this stunning lawsuit is that it recounts alleged behind-the-scenes conversations with some of the biggest players in the Trump Justice Department. We're talking about FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino, and then senior DOJ official Emil Bovee. Look, our viewers have heard a lot about how the FBI has been politicized. Carol and I have been reporting on these issues for months. But here, for the first time, we have an on-the-record version of events from people who were in the room, including Brian Driscoll, one of the plaintiffs who ran the FBI for months before Patel was confirmed and then stayed in the senior job for months afterwards. And if these accounts are to be believed, it's actually worse than we could have imagined. This is a 69-page complaint that reads like a great piece of narrative journalism, Chris, and it portrays an FBI that is totally beholden to the whims of the Trump White House and to outside political actors, including MAGA activists on social media. As you mentioned in the intro, it alleged that Patel fired senior FBI executives on orders from the White House for reasons that were totally political. That's against the law, and the lawsuit says Patel acknowledged knowing it was against the law. He allegedly said he knew he would be sued, but that his job depended on him carrying out the orders of the White House. And what's really shocking to me is that many of these decisions seem to be driven by a small number of MAGA activists on social media who pressured Patel, Bongino, and the White House, often leveling false allegations against decorated FBI leaders. And to give you one example, MAGA activists falsely claimed, according to the lawsuit, that an FBI agent named Christopher Meyer, a military veteran, had participated in the Mar-a-Lago search. Meyer happened to be one of 4 pilots at the FBI, so he was actually flying Kash Patel around in an FBI jet. MAGA activists were outraged about this, so Driscoll was ordered to fire Meyer based on these false allegations. He resisted, according to this lawsuit, and told Patel it would be illegal, especially because Meyer is a military veteran with special protections. But Patel is quoted in the lawsuit as saying, "I can't save everyone." Driscoll was ultimately fired for refusing to terminate Meyer, and Meyer also was fired, Chris.
So what we were learning about before this was ultimately filed was that these details from inside the room of the FBI at the highest levels indicate that the acting director and the deputy director were pushing back hard against the efforts to fire people who were targeted simply because a MAGA supporter of the president didn't like him, or the president raised concerns, or somebody had a taste for blood, literally a taste for blood. There was a moment in this episode that's recounted in the lawsuit where the acting deputy attorney general tells the acting FBI director, so Emil Bovee, tells Brian Driscoll, "Hey, look, I'm getting pressure from the White House. We need to fire people." A symmetrical amount of firing at the FBI as we've been having at the DOJ. This is in mid to late January. And he basically is just like, give me some names of people to fire. I want to target some people. And he starts asking for rosters of squads of agents who worked on the January 6th investigation. He wants to deliver essentially this blood to sate the White House that wants to see people fired. The other really compelling thing, Chris, that I saw in this lawsuit were the scenes in which Kash Patel, then the nominee to become the acting director, tells the Senate in his confirmation hearings that he will never use politics to make any decisions. He will never mistreat or abuse that standard for career FBI agents. They will all be treated fairly. And he says it multiple times in his hearing. But meanwhile, people he has chosen as his advisors inside the FBI have a list that they are showing to the acting director, Brian Driscoll, of people that they have to target in different offices of the FBI because they are politically distasteful to the president and to the White House. And meanwhile, as soon as Patel is confirmed, he acknowledges to these acting leaders that he's got to fire people for political reason because the president has not forgotten about the agents who tried to, quote unquote, put him in jail.
Bam.
So I have